This is One Sentence News, a daily podcast featuring 3 news stories with a sentence-long summary and 1 sentence of context apiece. I'm Colin Wright. It's Friday, December 24th, 2021. Let's talk about the news. From the Associated Press, China puts city of 13 million in lockdown ahead of Olympics. The Chinese city of Xi'an has been put into lockdown by the government after 63 new locally transmitted cases of COVID-19 were reported, bringing Xi'an up to at least 211 cases in a country that has a zero-tolerance policy for any cases, which periodically results in lockdowns, though they're usually enforced on a smaller, more focused scale. People in the lockdown area will be allowed to send 1 person from each household outside every 2 days to buy necessities. There's no word yet if the new cases are of the Omicron variant, but analysts are assuming part of why this strict response is happening now is the potential that Omicron could sweep through China, a country, again, with a zero-tolerance policy and thus less natural infection-based resistance to COVID, but also a relatively inauspicious vaccine situation, as the vaccines they developed and deployed widely and successfully don't seem to work very well, if at all, against Omicron. This is all happening, too, in the lead-up to the Winter Olympics in Beijing, which will begin the first week of February. From the New York Times, Amazon reaches labor deal, giving workers more power to organize. Amazon has reached a settlement with the U.S. National Labor Relations Board that will make unionization amongst their warehouse workers more feasible, while also making it easier for the board to sue Amazon if they ever come to believe that the company isn't adhering to the terms of this agreement. Amazon has taken a lot of flack of late for their treatment of employees, who are often paid decent wages compared to other entry-level jobs that are typically available in the areas where warehouses tend to be built. But the work conditions tend to be health-depleting. A lot of automation that's been called dehumanizing is used throughout their warehouse system, and some recent instances of negative press stemming from Amazon's treatment of their workers seems to have sealed the deal on this agreement, which should, in theory at least, make it more difficult for Amazon to mess with unionization efforts within their workforce, which is something they've done quite a lot up till this point. And from Reuters, Ethiopian government says military won't cross into Tigray for now. The Ethiopian government has announced that despite a wave of recent victories against the Tigray People's Liberation Front, or TPLF, in the northern part of the country, they will not, for the time being at least, cross into the Tigray region. This series of victories is being attributed in part to the government's use of armed drones acquired from Turkey, weapons that allowed government forces to launch airstrikes into TPLF-held territory before ground forces rolled through and reclaimed recently taken regions. Tigray has been suffering from a significant famine and the effects of war crimes allegedly inflicted against citizens by both government and TPLF forces, and there are some new concerns bubbling to the surface of the international community about the addition of military drones into the conflict, as some reports indicate a drone-launched airstrike against a power substation has worsened some of these other issues by denying electricity to hospitals and humanitarian organizations operating in the war-torn region. If you're finding some value in One Sentence News, consider leaving a quick review wherever you get your podcasts and/or sharing the show with a friend. You can find out more about this show or subscribe to the email version at onesentencenews.com. And you can support this and other related projects, like the Let's Know Things and Brain Lenses podcasts, at understandery.com.